You just run the show your way. I will just
Cool.
open my mouth.
Awesome. Cool. So make sure that I pronounce your name correctly, first of all. Vasash, how do I pronounce it?
Vaishali.
Vaishali. Okay, Vaishali, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to talk to you today. And I know you're coming to us from what part of the US are you coming to us from today?
I am coming to you from the San Francisco Bay Area.
San Francisco Bay. So I know it's nighttime for you over there. So thank you so much for taking the time. I had a chat with you the other day. We had met through a conference that we did based in the US actually, but of course streamed all over the world. And we got the chance to have a chat the other day, and I was fascinated by the fact that you are a business psychic. I've never heard of a business psychic before. So we had a good chat, and you were very kind and gracious and told me about that you would actually come on this call with me. So I thought, why not? Let's jump onto it and let's just do it. Cool. All right. So let's get into it. Sorry. So there's times that I may look down at my screen here. That just means I'm looking to my mobile because there is sometimes a little bit of a 10-second delay between Facebook and Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do today is you're going to do, I'm going to ask you some questions first, but you're actually going to do, if there's a few people on the call live, some live psychic readings on their business. So that's very exciting. And for those of you who are just tuning in to listen and hear that, then all she needs to know is your first name. Doesn't even need to know anything. Unless you have 2 or 3 businesses, then your business name as well, but your first name. So comment below and put your first name while I just have a bit of a chat here for a few more minutes. So tell us a little bit about you and how you came to here. You know what I mean? How did you become a business psychic? How does that happen?
So it's actually an accident.
As most good things are. Tell us more about that.
I wish I could say that I had planned that I would get up and become a business psychic one day, but I had no such plans. So what happened is I was actually seeking answers, and I went to a lot of different psychics, and none of them could actually tell me what was going on. I told
Okay.
them that, show me something verifiable because I came from an engineering background. And, in that, you always need some sort of a verification.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said that if you guys are really the real deal, then, and you can really predict the future, then tell me something that's going to happen and I can verify it and then we talk. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about.
Awesome. So you, as you say, with an engineering background, you yourself were going, show me the proof. If you can tell
Yeah,
me the future, show me the proof. Cool.
show me what's
So
going to
a little
happen.
bit cynical yourself. Yeah. Awesome. Love it.
Yeah. I didn't really ask them for the lottery numbers, but I just asked them for a little bit of proof.
Yeah.
So what happened is after consulting maybe 30 to 40 to 50 psychics, I figured that
Ah,
these people have no idea what they're talking about. I need to go and figure this out myself. So I decided to figure it out myself. And I started studying on how these things work. And then the long story short is I started experimenting with myself. I started experimenting with myself, and I said to myself that, if this is really true, then I should be able to predict my own future. And that's how it started. And then, I would test in small increments, like maybe an hour of the day when I would go to the gym. And then I found that all those readings actually came true. And at one point, I decided to change the reading. I kind of got irritated as to why is it that, the readings are showing me what's going to happen. I mean, how can this be? And so I decided to change the reading. And at that time, there was like a moment in time when, things shifted for me. And I said, oh my God, this is really true. So then I started exploring things. And I started testing more on myself. And once I figured out that they were actually working for me, then I started testing them on different people. And all the people, they would come back and say, yeah, this played out, that played out. So it kind of grew from there. So yeah.
Oh, wow. That's also, it's just so unusual. And I love the fact that, as you say, you were an engineer. And so you came into it cynical. It's not just like, sometimes, and I'm not knocking people that have a gift, but sometimes people will come into it and say, oh, I've known for years and it's been something I've always done. But you came into it going, show me the proof. That's so quite that background. So when you say an engineering background, so how long had you been in engineering before you started doing this?
Oh, I actually worked for over 10 years. I used to
Wow.
design computer chips. So I was like
Oh,
a
okay.
full blown, yeah, I was a full blown engineer. engineer.
And this is now your full-time gig now.
Yeah, right now I'm technically I'm still an engineering engineer, but I'm still not doing any engineering work.
You're doing this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So that's terrific. There's some names coming in for sure. So tell me a little bit about how it works. So when you get a name, and what kind of things? I know we talked when we had a discussion, because I talk quite often about business strategy as well, and we help people to actually and there's a few people putting their names below, so we will get to you guys. So there's lots of ways of putting strategy into place. And but how does it work from a psychic way of strategy, and how do you help them in that way?
Yeah, so in terms of strategy, do you want to get their questions? Maybe I won't read them, but I'll just explain. Do you want to get the questions from one or two
So they're
people
not
who are
putting in
mentioned?
questions, they're all putting in their names for you to read them.
Oh, okay, I need the name and the question. Like, what is the question they
Oh,
have?
okay. What is a specific question about your business
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
what they're stuck with? So
yeah.
what, give me an idea of what kind of question they could ask.
They can ask anything. They can ask whatever they want to ask. There is no bounds on it.
There's no
That
bounds
doesn't
on
mean
it.
I will read them. That doesn't mean I'll read them. I just want to pick one of the right questions. But by the time they do that, let me just pick an example. Let's say
Okay,
that
yeah.
you want to, do a launch, and let's say that you want to get 10 people, and 10 people to buy, let's say that your final product, and let's say that you're selling it for $1,000 each, so you want to make like $10,000 from the launch.
Yeah.
Now, in order for you to sell to 10 people, you will definitely have to have a lot more people, let's say 100 people, and out of the 100 you sell to 10. But those 100 people you could acquire in different ways. You could acquire them through Facebook ads, through Google ads, through Pinterest ads, through Facebook Lives, through YouTube, through some sort of media, by going in Facebook groups. There are like so many ways you could get the 100 people on your
Yeah.
call. But the thing is, each of that group of 100 people is going to be different based on how you get them. Like you could get
Yeah.
them from Pinterest, you could get them from Facebook groups, you could get them from Facebook ads. But it's possible that, there's only one source which is going to give you this 10 buyers.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for you to waste money. Like, let's say all your purchases are going to come from Pinterest, okay? Just hypothetically. Then it doesn't make sense for you to waste money on the Facebook ads and spend your time in the Facebook groups and pitch to media and go on podcasts and go on blogs and, do the Facebook lives, those kind of things. So
Yeah.
that's really what I kind of narrow down, like which strategy is going to help you. And then I can also kind of look into the numbers and tell you, what numbers are going to work. Like I
Right.
could tell you if you're going to get 10 sales, or if you will get maybe like 50 sales or 5 sales,
Awesome.
those kind
So
of
what
things.
one of the questions that has come in from a lady called Nikki,
Hmm.
and it is a very wide-reaching question, but is am I on the right track?
Yeah, that's not really a question. Let's pick something else. It's that's. I mean, it has a lot of meanings. What is she trying to do? What is she trying to do?
She's
And
in
where is she?
business. She's in
Okay.
business, And I guess she's going down a certain track within her business, and she wants to
Mm-hmm.
know, is that the right track? Because we know
Yeah,
we
so
come to the forks in the road of
mm-hmm.
10 different tracks.
So we are going to just do a live chat with her and ask her a few questions. I want to know if she's making enough income with whatever she's doing, because the first thing I see is that there could be a problem as far as her income is concerned. So, Nikki, can you type in the chat as to how you're doing in terms of your income from whatever business you are working on?
Well, I suppose they're not going to put too much private stuff, but just
No, not
is
to the number, but like, is she doing really well? Is she doing average? Is she doing below average? Like, where is she?
Okay, we'll wait for a second for that to come in. Another one is from, while we're just waiting for that to come in from Nikki. Another one is, should I rent a new studio from Gabrielle? So Gabrielle has a painting business and did have a studio, has not got that studio at the moment and is doing some different things. And she's just wondering, should she go back to renting a new studio?
Yeah, but what is she trying to get out of it? Like, it's okay. So I think one of the things you have to do in readings is you have to be very specific about what you're trying to find out from the question, because your answer is going to be as good as the question will be. Like the first question was, am I on the right track? The short answer is no, she needs to revise her track. I already know. And the very fact that she asked the question, kind of, you don't even need to be a psychic.
Okay, so let's just make it clearer and easier for the people. So to ask the question, so I think we all have an assumption when it's a psychic, it's like you can see everything, but you're saying no, be a little bit more specific with your question. So Gabrielle, I might be just guessing here. However, so I know Gabrielle had a business with a studio and around COVID time closed down the studios, but she still runs painting classes. So the idea will be to grow her business and to obviously exponential is not what we all want. And the question is now, should I keep hiring spaces to run my classes and online, or should I rent a new studio?
Okay, so should she rent a physical studio or do her classes online? Like
online,
which one is
and
going to
she
be...
rents areas to do them, so she might rent a room or a position. Yeah.
Okay, so whether she should rent a physical space, or which one will help her more in terms of creating her income, physical space or the online thing? Physical space, I think she still needs to hold off. It's not completely the time right now to be able to do the physical space. I think she's still a waiting period or a waiting time. So I think she needs to kind of hold off and do it mainly via, so it's showing like airwaves, which means like via online or via Zoom or something like that. And she can also do it across different time zones. So if she is, I don't know what country she is in, but let's say that she's in Australia, just hypothetically. I don't know where she is.
Well, yeah, she is. She's in Perth, okay. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she can also do it across time zones, and she can look for clients in Europe or look for clients in US based on how the time zones match. So she can grow her tribe that way rather than renting the space and paying for the space. So what happened to our first friend who was looking to see whether or
I
not
don't know
she
if
is on
Nikki
the right
has
track?
come back.
Or did I scare her already?
No. It's just that because there's that little bit of a delay sometimes in whatever, so I have to wait until Nikki comes back. But that's okay. There are some other questions coming in. We will come back to Nikki.
Okay.
Another question from Sarah is, how successful will I be with Facebook ads in the next 3 months?
Okay, that's a better question. So she's trying to, how successful, Sarah, what are you trying to achieve from the Facebook ads? Like, are you trying to get leads, or
trying to get people into a membership?
Oh, a membership. Okay, so will she have good luck with that? Uh, I think that has she tested them yet or no?
No, so this is the first time that she's putting out the Facebook ads for this.
Yeah, she doesn't have enough clarity on whom to target. That's what it's showing. And she's not very clear on how the ads work. And she's not clear on the script, the creative part for the ad. So
Yeah. So
it's
there's
not,
still a bit of work to be done around those areas. Is that what you mean?
yeah, there's quite a bit of work to be done. And it's not like, it's not like a vending machine. You put a buck and you get the candy bar out. I think you put a buck and the buck gets stuck in the vending machine.
Say that again. I'm not quite sure I understand that.
Okay, so when there's a vending machine,
Yeah.
you put like $1 in, and then maybe you get like a bottle of Coke out or
Yeah.
a chocolate out, right? So that's what people use Facebook ads for. They put like $1 in the Facebook ad, and
Yeah.
then they expect $3 or $5 or $10, depending on their circumstances. So in her particular case, if she puts the dollar in to get the can of Coke, her dollar is going to get stuck and she is not even going to get the can of Coke.
All
So
right.
she
So
won't
what
even
should she
break
do?
even. She
So
won't even break
what should
even.
she do to differently?
I think I just said that she's not using the right target. She's not clear
Okay.
on whom she's targeting. She's not clear on the creative of the ad. And I'm not even sure if a Facebook ad could be like the right strategy for her in order to be able to move forward with whatever she's trying to do.
It's an increase in a membership. Yeah.
Yeah. So if
Okay.
and you just said that like it was like the first time she was trying to do it. So I'll just say it like this, that the reading really doesn't support her completely. So if she wants to do it, she can, but just make sure that, she covers her bases and doesn't pour like $100,000 or something into
Yeah.
the ads.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Expecting it to bring 300 and losing all the 100, that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Nikki has got back to us. So how many people will attend my next copywriting workshop in 2021?
No, I'm going to pass on that question. What was the answer to the question I asked her in terms of how was
You
she
wanted her
doing?
to be more specific?
No, like I asked her if she was doing well or below average or above average.
Oh,
What did she
okay.
say?
Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. In regards to income, she would like to improve it and to the level, would like to improve it, of course, and to the level of my first business. So she had a previous business and now she's in a new venture and she wants to get that new venture the income improved to what that previous business was. Does that answer your question enough?
Sort of, but her case is very complicated. It's not something which can be done in like a 1 second or a 1 minute sort of a reading. I think that Nikki, you can message me to look at an in-depth situation, but she's kind of going in circles and she keeps revising her direction. Ask her if she's done that.
Say that again, because I know Nikki a bit, so I'm guessing I
Okay,
can
so it's
answer some of it.
almost like, she keeps changing her focus or changing her direction. And she's not sure what the right direction is. And even
Yeah,
now, whatever she's doing, it still needs to be tweaked. I'm not saying it's wrong to do it, because
yeah.
all of us, we need to make changes and course correction as we move forward. She's making them very frequently, but a lot of them are also emotional
Okay.
course corrections. Yeah.
Okay, so she needs to sit back and observe it a little bit and make decisions from a different place, perhaps.
Yeah, she's ask her if she's making emotional decisions. I don't know if she will say yes though.
That's okay. That's fine. If you don't feel like saying yes, as you can actually private message me and I'll put you guys in contact. Sarah just came back before I go to a different person and just said about the Facebook ads, what would be a better alternative?
Yeah, Sarah, for that one, we would have to look into like 3 or 5 or 10 different options, and then based on those options, we can say which one is going to be the best one for you. But right on Facebook ads, I don't know if you're using them by yourself or you're getting help.
Um,
Just be prepared that you test them. Okay, I'll put it like this. Make sure if you're using Facebook ads, you test them for like a smaller amount and smaller increments before you kind of move forward and pour all your money into it. Because based on
yeah.
what I looked at when I saw your reading, it showed that you're not clear on a lot of things. And I would be surprised if you even break even with the Facebook ads. So I would like rather have you to be a little bit more careful and maybe figure out a different marketing strategy.
Yeah, or it could be that they work when you test and measure and test and measure, but just make sure you
Yeah,
don't
or you
spend too
test
much
and
money.
tweak and then
Yeah.
go in higher levels. Don't just go and put like some outrageous amount a day unless you know you have lots of
Yes.
money. And even if you do have lots of money, it doesn't make sense to do it. You still need to
If you,
test, just like how I tested my readings before I went to a higher level.
yeah, yeah, no, 100%. So
Yeah.
Jamie has come in with another question, and I'm guessing from what you've said that this will be a broad reaching question, but I'll ask it anyway because there's some
Okay.
comments under it. So Jamie has asked, is it time to quit her job and pursue her actual business that she wants to? So she has started a business, but she's still working. And she's
Mm-hmm.
saying, is it time for me to quit the job and put all my energy into the business?
Into her business. So I guess my question is she making enough? I can read that, but I just want to ask her a clarifying question, which is she making enough from her business to substitute the income from her job?
Not completely yet. Again, I'm
So
paraphrasing here,
how
Jamie,
much is
because I
she
know
making?
Jamie.
Like, is she making like 30%, 40%? How much of her job income is she making from her
I'm not
business?
sure what the percentage is, but there's that kind of chicken egg kind of thing going on that go on with a lot of us. It's like if I leave the job, then I can focus on the business. But if I don't leave the job, I can't focus on the business yet. So there's a little bit of that. Don't have time to focus and build the business more because
Both
I'm
of
working full
them.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems that now is not the right time for you to quit the job. I think that if that's the path you want to go about, what it's showing is you may want to get help in your business. So um, if you have a job, you're getting a certain amount of income. What you can do is take a part of that income and assign it to get help, like hire someone to be able to amp up your business rather than you quitting the job and you working on the business. So I think the short answer is if you want to move your business forward, then you're better off hiring an assistant and paying them. Like there's lots of websites and all which give you virtual assistant. So hiring someone and paying them to advance your business rather than you quitting it and
So you
advance.
still have an income coming in the short term.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. That's terrific. So, guys, with the comments you're getting, feel free to type them in. I'm just checking my phone all the time because it's not, that little bit of a delay. So it takes a couple of seconds. So Helen has asked a question. Helen has said, is it worth persevering with the latest restructure in my program of work? Now, I know that's a high chunking one. Helen does work full time. So is that a question you can answer or do you need something else?
Read it again slowly.
Sure. That's okay. Is it worth persevering with the latest restructure in my program of work?
Okay. The first thing it's showing is like a man. There is a man who's involved. And the other thing I want to ask is did they have layoffs? Did they have like a reduction in the workforce? And like, is there a man involved in the question?
Okay, I'll wait for Helen to answer that because I don't know the answer to that. Will we flip to another question while we wait for that?
You want to do that? Let me see what the question is. What is the question?
The other question is from Terry. I'm working to fill my mastermind groups. So she has her own business. She's doing mastermind groups. Where should I focus my marketing to attract the people for this?
Oh boy. Here we go. Okay, it's kind of similar to the Facebook ads girl. Uh, what's her name? Terry?
Terry.
Okay. So Terry, I can give you a general idea, but if you want like more information, then we will have to kind of chat further. I don't know what you're doing right now. So she wants to fill her mastermind. Like what percent? Like does she have 5 people and she wants 7, or what percent does she want to up her
I think
capacity?
her mastermind goes up to five or six people from memory, and at the moment she has three, 2 to 3.
So she
Something
only
like
needs
that.
a few more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that mainly focusing on social media is what it's showing. Like focusing on social media and messaging on social media and being on social media is what it's showing.
Okay, do more on social
Yeah.
media. Cool.
Hmm.
Gabrielle, which was the painter. I'm still waiting for Helen to get back. Gabrielle, which was the painter. She's already doing online. So her question was only about the in-person events. So she does do in-person events already, but she rents somewhere else to do them, so a different venue. So should she actually rent her own studio so she can run more in-person events with her own schedule, or keep using other venues, which means less events, but having to fit in with their schedules, which is a bit trickier.
Yeah, so this was the same lady who asked the question before, right?
Yeah, about whether she
Yeah,
should hire her
so
new venue.
yeah, so for that one, it wasn't showing me a yes to get the space. It showed that you still need to wait it out a little bit. So I think you tried to kind of get a little bit more specific on the question and what you're trying to do and so on. But the reading really wasn't supporting you to get the
To
space
do
at
that
this time. Yeah,
at
not
this
at this
time. So
time.
maybe
So
just wait a
maybe
while.
wait it out a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Terry has just gone back and said she's currently running at 20% capacity in her mastermind.
Oh, for the mastermind. So she needs to up it by 80%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of people.
Well,
uh,
it's a lot on a percent, but it's not necessarily a lot of people, if I'm
mhm.
correct.
Yeah. Yeah, so if they have like a lot of different strategies, then I could probably look in depth and kind of tell her which ones are going to work. But just like on a higher level, it's showing more like social media and social messaging, like messaging properly or making the messaging more appealing to whoever your audience is. So making it more specific to the particular audience is what it's
Yeah.
really showing.
Cool. Now Helen has got back and she just reiterated her question is it worth persevering with the latest restructure in my program of work? So within her work environment, they have restructured it. I'm guessing is what she means with the program of work. Is that worth restructuring? I don't know if that's giving you any more clarity. And then we have
No,
one more
actually.
from Tanya. Has that given
Let's
you
take
any
the
more clarity?
let's no, let's take the one from Tanya. What does she want to know?
Tanya just says she feels she's in the right space, fulfilling her purpose, which is all about connection, love, and nurture, and taking care of people. In her current
Mhm.
situation, is working from home. Having children, it's so flexible, but I'm missing in-person connection like crazy. I just love what I do. So how can she get that connection, I'm guessing?
In person?
Yeah,
I want to
I
know
know.
the answer to that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think
I don't know if she actually has a question there. Apologies.
no, that's okay. I kind of know what she's trying to say. So she kind of feels a lack of human connection, and she's saying what can she do? I think that right now maybe just if she wants to meet people online via her work people online or something, or set up for like an online recurring meeting. That's really what it's showing, but it's not the right time to be able to have physical contact kind of an environment.
Okay, there you go. So let me see if there's any other question. I know I apologize that I'm looking down like this, guys. It's just making sure if there's any questions coming in. Oh, Tanya has come back with how long will she sustain working from home? That's her question.
Tanya, timing questions take a lot of time. I don't really do them.
Well, that's the same lady that was saying she loves what she's doing and all of that. But I imagine she's like, how long can I sustain it working from home and not having to go out into the bigger workforce?
I don't know. I guess that's up to COVID.
Yeah, I suppose that it's very different here in Perth as well because we're out and about and moving and all that. So I'll stop taking questions just for a moment, guys. So apologies, because I know I'm firing one at you, and then another at you, and then another at you, because the perception, I guess, is when you say psychic, they're just presuming you can read everything, but you need a little bit more information with it. It's not just that simple, is it?
Yeah, no, it needs a little bit more space and time. So it's not like you can just start throwing darts like that and just expect me to be a machine and answer it. If you really want a proper answer, then it takes me a little bit more time than a few seconds.
But that's good. Yeah, no, and you've given some insights there, which is terrific. So I noticed you're looking down when they ask a question. So what is it? Tell me, how does it come to you? How do the answers come to you?
So I use a combination of clairvoyance and some other techniques like cards and stuff. And the other part is just interpretation, and that's just based on the question. Like, it's how does it translate based on the question kind of thing. So I just try to read the energy around the question and tie the proper reference based on what they've asked. And
awesome. And how did you learn how to do that? Like when you said that you were an engineer and then that you brought this, you were going, show me the proof. So how did you learn? Like it's obviously a skill that was learnable. That
you can acquire, yes.
Yeah.
So I was using cards and I started reading for myself, and it actually was I was getting good at it because I was doing it every day. Like every day I would kind of read myself and then compare my prediction with what actually happened, and then read myself and compare my prediction with what happened. And then, I worked with a teacher. He was actually not in the US. He was outside. He was actually in Europe. And I worked with him via email actually. To be able to hone in my accuracy, and he helped me out quite a bit. So he would send me like a question by email, and then I would give him the reading, and then he would comment on it and correct me. So that was the educational part of it.
Yeah.
But the practical part of it is more just by reading people, just like how these people are coming with questions, just like on a daily basis. Just I've done like between 7,000 and 9,000 readings by now.
Wow. So wow. And they're one-on-one. So like normally when you do a reading, I know that this was a little bit put you on the spot, but normally when you do a reading, is it like this? Is it on the phone? How is that?
So about 95% of my readings are on the phone. I used to do a little bit on in person before COVID, and I have read a few people over Zoom. I don't really like to do them over Zoom because to be honest, I don't really need to see the person. They don't need to be in front of me, and I don't need to like look at them or read their expression or have them kind of look at me and throw energy at me and see what I'm doing. I don't need all of that. So I prefer to read them on the phone so that we are both invisible to each other. And all like, these people were asking the questions. I just need to be able to know the question. And, we could take like this one question, like, for instance, the lady who's the painting, she's doing some painting and she's trying to find out if I should. So I'll just dive into a little bit about what she was doing wrong. Now that I'm no longer reading, I'm not reading anymore. But she kept asking me, should I rent a studio in order to, should I rent a studio or should I keep, no, should I have my own studio or should I keep renting studios, is what she was asking, I think.
Yeah,
That's not
similar
really
to
the,
that. Yeah.
yeah, that's not really the question she has. I think her question was she wanted to get to a certain level of income and she was trying to find out what is the best way to get there. And in her mind, one way is to be able to own the studio and kind of command or control the time, and the other way is to lease space. But that's just like, those are the only two options she thinks she has. But there could be a lot more options that open up
Right.
if we start digging down deep into it.
Deep into it.
But yeah,
Okay,
so
cool.
this is more like logical thinking where you either do one or the other. I think I had an episode on my podcast. It's called the impulsive instinct, where I
That
say
was the
that
next question I was actually going to ask you. What kind of things do you talk about on your podcast?
oh, cool. So I'll just get
Yeah,
into it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
impulsive instinct, it actually gives you differentiation between what an impulsive thought is or intuitive thought is versus what a logical thought is.
Right.
Um, in the podcast, the theme of the podcast is physics meets metaphysics. So essentially, I kind of show you how spirituality gets translated into a physical form, sort of a thing, or how physics and metaphysics are intermingled or commingled with each other.
Okay, so your podcasts are, interviewing other people or just podcasts of you, or what are they?
So right now, it's just me.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of using it as a teaching platform to teach things. And in a very short period of time, you'll start seeing guests. And then what I'm going to have demonstrate with the guests is how they've been using intuition when they wanted to propel their business forward. Like the painter lady, she's she doesn't care about whether it's someone else's studio or her studio or anything. She's interested to achieve the next level of income. That really is her goal. But she thinks that those are the only two ways she can do it. There could be like a third or a fourth way, but in her mind, she's kind of just looking in the logical lane. So the only thing she
Which
can
we
see.
often do because logic kind of goes ahead. How do you, I'm curious now when you said to tell about the difference between a logical thought and an intuitive thought, because I know in business, a lot of us, because we work even in our membership with people in business, and sometimes they go, I just had a good feeling about it. Is that what you mean by the intuition, or is it something different?
Okay, so intuition is actually a sense of the spirit. So just like our body has five senses, our spirit also has senses, and our spirit also has sensors. And the senses of the spirit are like, if you heard the word clairvoyance or clairaudience, it's almost like, you can kind of see an image or you can hear a message, or clairsentience is just feeling something. So it's almost like you feel that something is not right. So it's almost that your
Yeah.
spirit is telling you that, this is not right or something. And if something exciting is going to happen, then your spirit knows. So you get excited before it even happens.
That's quite often that, I'm not sure what it is. I just feel it's right. So we sometimes, and I think a lot of business owners get that feeling quite often. Otherwise, we wouldn't keep doing it, because God knows building a business can be quite challenging, and that's why we need all this help in it. So how do people contact you if they wanted to contact you?
Sure. So I have a podcast. It's called The Uncanny Link, and the website is theuncannylink.com. So you
Okay, I'll
can
put that in the
send me a
chat.
message. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
we
can
can put it
send
in
me
the
a
chat.
message
Yeah.
through the contact button, or you can send me a message on Facebook or Instagram saying that you saw me on this show, and that would be the best way to get hold of me. You
So
can
the
also contact me on LinkedIn.
uncannylink.com.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
LinkedIn as well. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. We'll make sure that that link is put down below. And your podcast is available through the website or elsewhere?
Yeah, through the website, through Apple, through Spotify, Stitcher, whatever are the main platforms for the podcast, you can find it everywhere. Just type in the Uncanny Link podcast in Google, and you should be able to get a link to listen to it.
Yeah, cool. And for people to do one-on-one work with you, then they can just contact you in that way.
Yeah, definitely. Hit the contact button and send me a message saying that you would like to work with me, and then we can chat from
Yeah,
there.
that's awesome. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure. I can't believe we've been talking for so long. But it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here today. And I know we put you on the spot with a few questions, so we know now you need more specifics, and that's absolutely fine. Is there any last things? I know, like in business, again, and what you said to Jamie there at one stage was hire somebody else to do it. So one of the things people quite often tell people in business is, oh, just take the leap and go out. But it's not sustainable to do that. In
No,
your
I don't agree
experience,
with that.
yeah,
I
no,
don't
I
agree
don't
with
either.
that.
Yeah, I don't either. But in your experience and all the reads and everything that you've done, is there one kind of common or one or two kind of common things that you find that most business people come up against and they need support to get past?
I think that all of us have certain levels which we need to cross. So initially, like let's take the example of the girl who has the job and she's thinking of quitting the job and making her business a full time. So I think the first level would be like, let's say she makes 10,000 from her job. So the first level is, how do I make 10,000 from the business so that I can switch all my energy here? And then once
Yeah,
she reaches the 10,000, then she wants to reach 25,000 and then she wants to reach 50. So I think all of us have to cross the levels.
yeah.
So it's always like, how do I get there kind of a scenario.
Well, it is. And we often talk about, in our membership and when we're talking to different clients about the hero's journey and the 12 steps. And it's knowing what step you're on that journey and getting the help that you need, whatever that is, in order to support you. Because you're so right in what you said earlier. Sometimes we think there's only two choices, but it's the ability to be able to look a bit further into what other choices they are. And that can be a mentor or something that can help you with that outside of yourself, because we can't always see it because we're inside of ourselves as well. So getting that support and getting yourself in that environment is really important.
Yeah.
Cool. So I know it's past 9 o'clock at night in where you are. So thank you so much for taking the time out and having a chat with us today. And guys, if you're listening to a replay, just put in some comments below and I'll make sure that I connect you all together and you can chat one-on-one then if you need to. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much, and I'm sure we'll chat again.
Thank you so much for having me, and
That's
thank you
okay.
everybody for putting your questions.
Well, our pleasure. So it's bye for me.
Bye.